We saw prices, inventory, and buyer demand go up in Reno-Sparks for the month of May, but let's dive in deep and take a look at what happened for all of Northern Nevada. As I hinted, we saw median home price for Reno-Sparks single family home go up almost $15,000 from $540,000 to $554,475. You look at that compared to where we've been in the last year, and you can see we're about, we haven't seen these prices since August of last year, since our peak of actually May of last year of $615,000. That was our peak. So we've been officially 1 year since then. And we normally peak out at prices right around this time frame too. So will this be our peak this year? We'll have to wait around and see. Median days to contract for the Reno-Sparks area, 14 days, went up just slightly, 2 days to get your home accepted. So in 2 weeks, on average is how long it's taking for your sellers to get their home under contract as soon as it hits the market. Now we saw it go up 2 days in Reno-Sparks for median days to contract, but what about in your price point that maybe you're listing your home at? And you can kind of see a lot of these markets actually, and what's really interesting is basically below $1 million, they all went up. Normally, most of them just a day or two. The 750 to $1 million went up 9 days, but most of them just a slight increase in days. But what's interesting is the million to and over, basically, both of those actually dropped down. The $1.5 million plus actually went significantly down compared to the previous month. So kind of interesting watching that pan out. But regardless, homes are still selling relatively quickly as long as they are priced correctly. We saw inventory go up again for May. That's good news. Very typical for this time of year. We normally see the inventory trajectory continue to go upward till about the end of August. And then once we hit August, the buyers really start to cool down. The kids getting ready to go to school, things like that. And that's when we see the buyer activity really start to let off the gas, and we'll see inventory start to go up because homes aren't selling as quickly, right? So if you are thinking of selling, now's the time to get your home on the market to make sure we get a hold of it before the inventory goes upward more and you have more competition. We did see new listings continue to trend upward as well. That's good. We still need inventory. We were well over 1,000 homes just last year. So we've seen that come down quite a bit, and it's honestly not enough. While that's kind of kept our prices a little bit more stable, almost, and going up as we've seen in this month, we still need more homes out there for the buyers, and there's a lot of buyers that are holding off until they find that perfect home. In real estate, we measure if it's a buyer's or seller's market by month supply of inventory. That kind of matches buyer's demand versus available homes for sale, and kind of have a ratio for that to create. If it's below 5 months, it is what's considered a seller's market. We've been considered a seller's market for a long time. I very much think that just because you're below 5 months doesn't necessarily mean you're in a seller's market, and it's very hyper local, but there is some telling of kind of where the market's trending with it, and that's more of the pattern I like to see. And you see we've kind of been on a downward trend since the peak these numbers last fall. And you can see we stayed the same from last month, 1.6 months. So we are pretty stable right now, I would say. Looking in the individual price points though, you can see how they vary depending on price point. If you're below $500,000, look at that 0.7 months, stayed the same. And for 300 and 400,000 price points. And if you're 500 to 600,000, actually went down a little bit, basically a week or two. And all of these, what's interesting too is the $1.5 million and the million plus actually went up just a little bit as well. So even though the days to contract went down, months of inventory went up just a little bit, but nothing too dramatic of a change. So we'll keep watching that though. We see pending sales normally this time of year peak. You can see last year they peaked in April. So Historically speaking, you go back a few years, I looked at pre-COVID numbers, and we normally see April, May timeframes usually when we peak in pending sales, and then kind of go down. Sometimes we'll get a busy month for some reason, and just like we did last year, for some reason, August, all of a sudden we saw a big peak in the pending homes. We saw, so will this be our peak this year? We'll have to wait and see, but you can tell, I mean, we are less than we were last year. And again, that's partially because of the less homes available for sale with rising interest rates. You know, we're kind of back closer to that 7%. So we're just seeing the market's changing so quickly every single day. I saw these graphs pop up the other day. Showing Time releases their stats a little bit delayed, so we can only go back to March is our soonest month available. But you can see what Showing Time measures, and so we use this here locally as a way to book showings to show homes. And so it can kind of tell how the traffic is, how many buyers are out there. So you can see interest rates went up last spring, and you can kind of really tell how the buyers responded to that until they started to adjust and realize, okay, we're in this for a bit, we still need a home, and we've started to see activity pick up. So good news is there. We have the first quarter of the year, we have continued to see steady growth in people and buyers showing homes, but that's just the last 12 months. How did it look in the last few years? Well, ignore the last 2 years before that, because that was crazy times. That was really high. That was very much above average. But you look before that, and I would even ignore 2020, because that's right when March of 2020, we all remember the second half of that month, unfortunately. And then previous to that, though, if you look at 2017, 2018, and 2019, all right around the same area, and we definitely surpassed that quite decently. So if you compare, again, March of this year versus March of previous years, buyer activity is still very good and above what it was pre-pandemic. So we got to make sure we stop comparing things to pandemic times when there was low interest rates and low inventory. Let's take a look at hyper local markets and see what's going on all around Northern Nevada. Starting with Reno, went up to $570,000 median home price. So up 2.7%. We saw inventory go up as well. And basically everything was up. So compare that to Sparks, and you're gonna see a few different changes in there as well. We saw prices go up to almost 531. Inventory actually went down in Sparks. So if you remember, for the Reno-Sparks inventory, it had went up. So most of all that gain for the Reno-Sparks inventory was actually from Reno. We saw new listings go up as well. And we saw the median days to contract actually go down a little bit. So look at Fernley, almost $380,000 went up. All of these, you look over the median price year over year, they are down. So, and I think that has driven some demand as well, because while interest rates are up, a lot of these home prices are still 5 to 10% less than what they were a year ago. So a little bit more people are feeling they get a little bit more value to make up with that higher interest rate, right? So you see inventory quite a bit, down 21%. So even with new listings up 18%. So I thought that was interesting. Must have saw a lot more demand in Fernley this last month. And so we'll probably see that correlate in closed sales next month. In Carson City, stayed the same price, $477. Inventory went down just a little bit with new listings up over 25%, and 18 days to contract out there. Going further south down to Gardnerville and Minden areas, $530,000 median home price, up almost 2%, down 10.5% year over year, with active inventory at 108, almost just a little bit down. And new listings at 73 listings. So not any big changes on here for the most part. Even median days to contract stayed the same. So it was pretty stable month down there compared to the previous month. I always like to finish up with the condos and townhomes in the Reno-Sparks area. Looks like demand went up quite a bit for the area. We saw the month over month up 9.5% to $345,000 for a condo townhome. Inventory did go up to 148 homes with new listings up as well. So that's good. There's some choices out there, sometimes a little bit more affordable for those, especially when comparing with the interest rates and stuff. People are kind of shopping around different options and ideas. So definitely some options out there. Again, if you are curious about purchasing a home this year or selling a home, give me a call. I'll put my information down here. And if you want to reach out and just talk about it, see if now's the right time or if sometime in the future is, let me know. I appreciate you watching. Be sure to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and watch my other videos over here, like my mid-month mortgage updates. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.